Georgia Hunter Bell just shocked the entire 1,500-meter world. And now, the biggest question in athletics is dividing fans everywhere. Is Georgia Hunter Bell officially the new queen of the 1,500 meters, or is everyone overreacting to 2 Diamond League wins? Because what happened in Paris wasn't supposed to happen. Not against one of Ethiopia's most dangerous finishers. Not with the race coming down to the final 200 meters. And definitely not this early in the championship season. Yet somehow, Georgia Hunter Bell crossed the line in 3:55.63. A season's best. Another Diamond League victory. And a performance that completely changed the conversation heading toward the biggest championships of the year. Think about that. Just months ago, people still viewed Georgia as an Olympic bronze medalist, trying to prove she belonged among the very best. Now, the world's best are trying to figure out how to beat her, and that's where this story becomes controversial. Because some fans already believe Georgia Hunter Bell has become the favorite for every major championship this season. Others think 2 Diamond League victories don't automatically make you the world's best. After all, championship racing is different. The pressure is different. And winning when everyone is chasing you is a completely different challenge. But one thing nobody can argue with, the stopwatch doesn't lie. Paris wasn't just another fast race. It was a tactical battle. As the field approached the final lap, Ethiopia's Freweyni Hailu began doing exactly what she's famous for. Closing hard. Every stride, the gap became smaller. The Paris crowd sensed the momentum changing. Many expected Hailu to fly past in the final straight. Instead, Georgia Hunter Bell stayed calm. She never panicked. She never broke her rhythm. Every time Hailu gained ground, Georgia found another answer. She crossed first in 3:55.63. Hailu followed just 0.29 seconds later. That may sound close, but against one of the world's strongest finishers, it was complete control. And here's what makes this even more impressive. Paris wasn't her breakthrough. It was her confirmation. Just weeks earlier, Georgia had already conquered another elite Diamond League field in Rome. Winning once can happen. Winning twice against the world's best. That's completely different. Suddenly, this wasn't an athlete building confidence. This was an athlete building fear, because every runner lining up beside Georgia now knows exactly what they're facing. An Olympic medalist, a 2-time Diamond League winner, and a woman who can run under 3:56 while still producing one of the strongest finishing kicks in the sport. Now the focus shifts to what's coming next. The Commonwealth Games, the European Championships, both on home soil, both with British crowds behind her, and both featuring rivals who have now watched Georgia Hunter Bell win the biggest races of the season. Of course, questions still remain. Can she turn Diamond League success into championship gold? Can she defeat Kenya and Ethiopia when every medal is on the line? Can she become Britain's next great middle distance champion? Nobody knows, but one thing has become impossible to ignore. Georgia Hunter Bell isn't chasing the world's best anymore. She's becoming the athlete everyone else is chasing. And if her form continues, the biggest championships of 2026 may belong to her. Because what happened in Paris wasn't just another Diamond League victory. It was a warning that one of the most dangerous women in middle distance running has arrived. And the rest of the 1,500-meter world has every reason to be worried. While the entire athletics world was panicking over Keely Hodgkinson's emotional withdrawal, they missed the biggest story of the weekend, because while every camera inside Alexander Stadium was pointed at one athlete walking away from the track, another athlete was busy making history. And almost nobody noticed. A 32-year-old woman who quit athletics. A woman who spent years working in technology sales. A woman who wasn't even competing at an elite level a few years ago. Just stepped onto the track and destroyed a championship record that had survived for more than 3 decades. 31 years. Gone. And here's the controversial part. What Georgia Hunter Bell did might actually be more important than the story everyone is talking about. Because while Keely Hodgkinson's withdrawal dominated headlines, Hunter Bell delivered a performance that could completely change the balance of power in women's middle distance running. Think about this. 4 years ago, Georgia Hunter Bell wasn't chasing Olympic medals. She wasn't running Diamond Leagues. She wasn't even a professional athlete. Now she's breaking records that have stood since 1995. Records set during an era dominated by some of Britain's greatest runners. How is that even possible? That's the question people are starting to ask, because this isn't a normal comeback story anymore. This is becoming something far stranger, something athletics almost never sees. A runner who left the sport entirely, built a career outside athletics, returned in her late 20s, and somehow became one of the fastest women on the planet. Then came Birmingham. With the pressure of a national title on the line, Hunter Bell didn't sit back. She didn't wait. She didn't play tactical games. She went straight to the front. The pace was aggressive. The risk was huge, and if she got it wrong, the entire field would come flying past her in the final 200 meters. Instead, she got stronger. She crossed the line in 1:55:93, a new championship record. A mark that erased a record that had stood untouched since 1995. And suddenly, a question nobody was asking a few months ago became impossible to ignore. Is Georgia Hunter Bell now a genuine threat to Keely Hodgkinson and Audrey Warrow? Because that's where this story gets really interesting. The London Diamond League is next. Keely Hodgkinson, Audrey Warrow, Georgia Hunter Bell. 3 women, 3 completely different journeys, and potentially 1 world record. For months, the conversation has been Hodgkinson versus Warrow, but Birmingham may have revealed something nobody expected. There might be a third name in this fight, and if Georgia Hunter Bell keeps improving at this rate, the rest of the world may have a much bigger problem than they realize.
For the first few steps, it looked like the Olympic champion might be in trouble. The start wasn't clean, the field was closing, and for a moment in Oslo, Julian Alfred looked vulnerable. But then, something happened that should worry every woman in sprinting. Because once Alfred found her rhythm, the race was over. And the scary part, the massive time on the clock wasn't even the biggest story. Julian Alfred arrived at the Oslo Diamond League carrying enormous expectations. After all, this is the woman who changed the history of St. Lucia forever. In Paris, she stormed to Olympic gold in the 100 meters with a stunning 10.72, the first Olympic medal ever for her country. Then she added Olympic silver in the 200 meters. Since then, she hasn't just been another champion, she's become the athlete everyone is chasing, and in Oslo, she had another chance to prove why. The result looked impressive immediately. Alfred crossed the line first in 10.76 seconds. Amy Hunt of Great Britain finished second in 10.99. Zoe Hobbs of New Zealand took third in 11.03. But if you only look at the final result, you miss what really happened. Because Alfred didn't dominate from the gun. In fact, her start created a real problem. The 100 meters is brutal. There's no curve to settle into, no extra